Well, thank you very much, colleagues and friends, and I welcome you on my own behalf to the House of Lords, and I hope we continue to have a really productive day. Let me say that my bona fides for speaking here, if I have any at all, are that I engage with the Women, Peace and Security All-Party Parliamentary Group, and I engage with the Conflict Resolution Parliamentary Group, because I think that those things are very, very important. I should just say, for the purposes of clarity, that I am a patron of the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, which is a British and Irish solidarity organisation. And I have been a patron of that campaign for a very long time because of the importance. I joined it when I was leader of a teachers' union, because of the importance of education and because of the importance of narrative, as we have heard. And because before October the 7th, there was a very big issue about education of Israeli children in Israel and education of Palestinian children in Gaza and the West Bank. And as a teachers' leader, working for peace and security and ensuring that everyone could access education, I felt it was important to support the Palestine Solidarity Campaign. And I'm very pleased, therefore, that my own government has recognised the statehood of Palestine. I personally think it's overdue, but I'm very glad that it's happened now. And I would say that I live very close to what is now the Palestinian embassy, and Hassam Zumlot is an extraordinary ambassador who speaks very persuasively and calmly about the importance of the place of Palestinians in the world and how the international community must work harder to ensure that the right thing is done by Palestinians. I visited Israel and Palestine on perhaps 8 or 9 occasions, and I have seen the shrinking space for Palestinians. I have seen the increasing settlements which are in breach of international law. And I can understand, therefore, the frustration, even before the current situation in Gaza. I can understand the frustration of the Palestinian people. Over the years, I have tried talking with teachers in Israel and, of course, teachers in Palestine. And they know that there is brutality, there has been brutality from Hamas. They know absolutely that there has been brutality from Israel. And very many of the people whom I have met in Israel, in civil society organizations, know that government policy in Israel is not tending in a direction of peace. But one of the things that I always say when I'm trying to work with people on the notion of conflict resolution, or at least reduction, is what was said by Desmond Tutu, which is that we don't make peace with our friends, we make peace with our enemies. And understanding everything that the former Prime Minister has said, I still think that it's an absolute onus on the international community to seek wherever we can to move forward on a diplomatic front and to seek those areas where we can begin to bring people together. It's not easy. I wouldn't want to be in a room with my enemies, but these are things that we have to do. And the Israeli government clearly is not necessarily that partner at the moment, but we have to find ways of engaging. Like the former Prime Minister, I stood outside the South African embassy for very many days and nights. And I began to wonder whether we would ever see the end of apartheid in my lifetime. But actually, it came, relatively speaking, a very long time ago now. So I remain, although hesitantly, I remain optimistic that we can find ways of working in small groups, in civil society, through diplomatic channels, to find ways in which we can bring people together. I don't say I don't say that Palestinians have to accept some kind of normalization and be in rooms with Israelis where they don't want to be. But I do say that we have to find those ways of working together and moving forward. And I think one of the most egregious things that the Israeli government has done, leaving aside the whole question of genocide, is the attack on UNRWA. Because without UNRWA, there is very little realistic education for Palestinian children. I visited those schools. They do extraordinary work with very limited resources. And I think that is something which the international community must say, this cannot stand. Our own government has changed its position and has been now in favour of supporting UNRWA, but I think that we all have to. And I'm very much looking forward to hearing from everybody else, but I conclude my remarks by saying this. I cannot imagine what it must be like to wake up every morning as a Palestinian and not know, and if you're in Gaza, have nowhere to live, and if you're in the West Bank, not know whether your olive groves will be standing at the end of the day. But I also know that I can't imagine what it must be like to wake up in Israel and be an Israeli citizen who genuinely believes that there ought to be a two-state solution and genuinely believes that much of what their government is doing is entirely wrong and that they themselves have to spend every day trying to find a way of improving the situation. So thank you very much.
Right.